You ever have a moment that cleaves your life cleanly into two parts? Before and after. Mine came with 6 words. You're a loser. Just leave already. She didn't even look up when she said it. Diana, my wife, my partner of 8 damn years, stood at the kitchen counter, thumbing through her phone like I was a smudge on the window she couldn't be bothered to wipe away. Her lover's cologne still clung faintly to the room. It was so obvious even the walls would have filed for divorce if they could. She wanted me gone? Fine. She wanted to live happily ever after in the house I built, the life I sweated to pay for? Sure. Let her. I wasn't going to make a scene. I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction of seeing me crack. No, I smiled. Not a happy smile. A cold, calculating one, the kind of smile you wear when you've been handed the keys to the devil's playhouse. I packed what I needed, a duffel bag of clothes, my passport, my old laptop with the cracked hinge, and one other thing. The passwords. To everything. The checking account. The savings. The brokerage account she never bothered learning to log into, just smiled pretty and swiped her gold cards. She thought I was too stupid to do anything without her? Good. Let her think that. While she scrolled through her Instagram feed, no doubt liking some motivational quote about living your best life, I logged into our bank app and emptied every cent. $187,432.96. Poof. Gone in the time it took her to post a selfie. I transferred it into an account she didn't know existed. One I opened years ago because, deep down, some part of me always knew Diana was the type who'd kick a man while he was down, and then sue him for getting her shoes dirty. No note. No tearful goodbye. No dramatic confrontation. I left the front door wide open behind me. If she wanted my life so badly, the house, the car, the furniture, she could have it. But without me paying the mortgage? Without me handling the taxes? Without me carrying the insurance, the maintenance, the utilities she thought magically paid themselves? Good luck, sweetheart. I disappeared. Not down the block. Not across town. I crossed state lines and didn't stop until the welcome signs started sounding like foreign countries. I got a one-room dump with peeling wallpaper and a lock that rattled when the wind blew. It was perfect. No one knew me there. No one looked at me with pity or whispered behind my back. For 2 years, I lived under the radar. Worked cash jobs. Drove a beater truck that backfired like a shotgun every few miles. Ate canned chili and frozen burritos until my gut forgot what a real meal tasted like. Every night, I thought about her. Not in the pathetic, lovesick way. No. In the way a man stares at a chessboard, setting up the pieces for a game he already knows he'll win. Diana thought she beat me. She thought she'd traded up, that the man warming my side of the bed now was some kind of upgrade. But life's funny. The same arrogance that made her shove me out the door was the same arrogance that made her sloppy. Reckless. Exposed. I watched from a distance. Credit reports. Property liens. Foreclosure notices. Late payment flags. The house, my house, slowly rotted beneath them. The taxes ballooned. The maintenance piled up. The foundation cracked. And her shiny new forever man? Turned out he had champagne tastes on a beer budget. Couldn't even fix a leaky faucet, let alone rescue a sinking ship. I waited. Patient. Precise. A ghost in the background, unseen but very much alive. Then, 2 years to the day after she told me I couldn't live without her. The phone rang. Her name flashed across the screen. I almost laughed. I let it ring twice before I answered, making sure my voice was calm, almost bored. Hello. Her voice cracked immediately, desperate and raw. Please. I need your help, Nate. Everything's falling apart. Of course it was. Of course she needed me. The loser she couldn't live without. I leaned back in my chair, a small smile tugging at the corner of my mouth. Finally, my turn. I let her sit there on the other end of the line, choking on her own panic. It was the first real silence she'd given me in years. When I finally spoke, my voice was steady, almost casual. You sound stressed. Nate, please, she said, her words tumbling out so fast they practically tripped over each other. The mortgage company, they're threatening foreclosure. I didn't know. I thought it was being paid automatically. Of course she thought that. Diana was always the kind of woman who figured money just appeared like magic, the way flowers bloom or snow falls. She never wondered who tilled the fields or shoveled the driveway. And now? I asked, still perfectly even. And now, she sniffled, they say I have 30 days to settle or they're taking the house. My house, Nate. The place we built together. I leaned back, letting her words sink into the hollowness she had carved into my chest 2 years ago. It didn't hurt anymore. It felt clarifying, like stepping into winter air after a long fever. Built together? I repeated, letting the sarcasm drip slow and steady. You mean the one I bought, renovated, insured, and maintained while you Instagrammed your brunches and flirted with your coworkers? Silence on the other end. Sweet, delicious silence. You don't understand, she whispered finally, her voice cracking. We were different then. I was confused. You made me feel trapped. There it was. The old chestnut. Blame the man for not being psychic enough to anticipate the betrayal. I could have laid into her right then. I could have dragged every ugly truth into the light. But I didn't. Because true revenge? True, bone-deep satisfaction? It isn't about yelling or gloating. It's about letting them beg. I'm not sure what you expect me to do, Diana, I said slowly, savoring each word like a sip of fine whiskey. I'm just a loser, remember? A man who couldn't live without you. Her breath hitched. I didn't mean it, she said, voice trembling. You know I didn't mean it. I smiled at the ceiling, the same cracked pain I stared at every night when I plotted this moment. You meant it, all right, I said. And you were right. I couldn't live without you. Pause. Tension thick enough to slice. But not in the way you think. Because the truth was, leaving her didn't kill me. It freed me. While she played house with her broke boyfriend. I quietly invested the money I took. Real estate flips. Cryptocurrency at the bottom of a crash. Small cap stocks no one else had the stomach for. The $187,432.96 she didn't even notice was missing? It had grown into just shy of $700,000. I didn't just survive without her. I built a life so far beyond what we had, she couldn't even see it from where she stood. But she didn't know any of that. Not yet. Nate, please, she said again, desperation bleeding through. I'll do anything. 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 Funny word. So full of possibilities. I didn't answer right away. I wanted her to feel it. The uncertainty. The powerlessness. The same way she'd left me 2 years ago, stripped down, abandoned, disposable. Finally, I said, I'll think about it. And I hung up. Not rudely. Not slamming the phone down. Just a clean, surgical disconnect. I sat there a moment longer, staring at my reflection in the dusty window. I looked older than I had back then. Harder. Sharper around the edges. But better. Stronger. Finally free. She thought the past 2 years were me losing. She had no idea. The game hadn't even started yet. And now? Now I was going to show her what it really meant to be powerless. I didn't rush. Good revenge is like a fine whiskey. It's got to be aged, matured, savored. Not gulped down in one stupid moment of rage. The next morning, my burner phone buzzed. A text from Diana. Please, Nate. Just meet me. One coffee. One conversation. God, she was predictable. The queen of drama, acting like she was starring in some tragic soap opera instead of the pathetic little mess she made. I let her stew for a full day. No reply. Another text followed. Then a voicemail, her voice shaking, practically whimpering. Perfect. When I finally answered 2 days later, I made it sound like an afterthought. Sure, I said casually. Why not? We met at the same Starbucks we used to go to when money was tight and dreams were big. Back when she used to look at me like I was the future, not a burden. Back before the mask slipped. I spotted her instantly. Diana sat at a corner table, sunglasses on indoors like some washed-up celebrity. Her hair was messy, her makeup clumsy, the kind of rush job you throw together when you cry in the car and realize you're late. She looked up, and for a split second, just a breath relief flooded her face. It was almost sad, how she thought this would be a negotiation. As if she still had cards left to play. Nate, she breathed, standing up like she might throw her arms around me. I didn't move. Just watched her. Watched the hope die in her eyes when she realized I wasn't here to comfort her. I was here to witness her. We sat. She launched into her speech immediately, a pitiful cocktail of apologies, half-truths, and desperate justifications. I was confused. I made mistakes. You were always working. He meant nothing. I miss us. God, the greatest hits. I just stirred my coffee slowly, letting her ramble, letting her sweat. Because it wasn't about what she said now. It was about what she needed. And she needed me. You said you'd do anything, I said finally, cutting through her babble like a knife. Her lips trembled. Yes. Anything. I leaned forward just enough for her to think, hope, that I was about to forgive her. I want the house, I said. Her face crumpled. But it's my home now, Nate. We've lived there for a... No, I interrupted, voice cold steel. It's my house. Bought it before we even met. Paid every mortgage, every insurance bill, every repair. You want a home? Start over like I did. Tears welled up, but I didn't flinch. I drowned in those tears before. Never again. I don't have the money. Nate, she cried. I tilted my head slightly. Not my problem. I could see it then, the gears turning in her head. Scheming. Plotting. Diana was a snake, but even snakes get desperate when their nest burns down. She would scramble for solutions. She would lie if she had to. Beg, seduce, plead. I smiled faintly, sipping my coffee. Good. Let her think she still had a chance. Because the next move? The next move was mine, and it was going to destroy whatever fragile fantasy she was still clinging to. She thought she was being clever. Thought she could stall me with crocodile tears and whispered promises. The same tricks that worked on every other poor bastard she had ever conned. But I wasn't that man anymore. Not even close. The day after our little coffee reunion, Diana sent another text. Longer this time. More desperate. Please, Nate, if you could just help me figure out a way to refinance the mortgage. Maybe we could work something out. Even just temporarily? I could practically hear the fake sweetness straining in her voice. Temporary. She wanted the house until she could flip it. Sell my memories, my blood and sweat, to bail herself out. Start fresh with some other fool. No, I wanted her to drown in it. Choke on the ruins of the life she stole from me. So I offered her a lifeline. The kind with a noose at the end. I might be willing to help, I texted back, but it would have to be official. Something legal. You willing to put it in writing? It took her less than 2 minutes to reply. Yes. Anything. Just tell me what to sign. Hook. Line. Sucker. I contacted a lawyer, not my old guy. No. I needed someone sharp. Someone ruthless enough to see the setup for what it was and enjoy it. A buddy of mine from the renovation days recommended a woman named Sloan. Sloan didn't believe in soft landings. She specialized in contracts that looked like handshakes but felt like chokeholds once signed. I told Sloan what I wanted. Transfer full deed rights of the house to me under the guise of temporary assistance. Make Diana think she was still a partial owner, until it was too late. No loopholes. No mercy. Brutal, Sloan said with a smirk. You sure you want to go this hard? I thought about it. I thought about sleeping in a roach-infested motel while Diana played house with her new boyfriend in the king-sized bed I paid for. I thought about every whisper behind my back, every sneer, every time she tossed her hair and laughed like I was some pathetic fool who should have seen it coming. I met Sloan's eyes. I'm sure. Within 3 days, the papers were ready. Neat. Professional. Lethal. I set the meeting at a neutral site, a quiet notary's office halfway between her city and mine. I didn't tell her I'd be bringing an attorney. I didn't tell her this agreement was a guillotine dressed up like a handshake. Diana showed up 15 minutes late, naturally. Sunglasses on again, hair in a messy bun that probably cost $400 to look casually undone. She gave me a smile that had once made me weak. Now it just looked pathetic. We sat down. The notary slid the documents across the table. This just formalizes Nate's assistance in managing the mortgage, Sloan said smoothly, as if we were discussing brunch plans. If you sign, he'll have administrative rights to settle the loan issues. Simple. Diana barely skimmed it. Too eager. Too desperate. She signed. Scribbled her way into oblivion without even realizing it. No witnesses needed, just a notary stamp and a heartbeat's worth of time. The moment her pen lifted from the page, it was done. Legally, fully, irrevocably. The house was mine again. Every brick. Every window. Every memory. And she? She was now just a squatter clinging to walls that no longer belonged to her. She hugged me after, would you believe it? Pressed her body against mine and whispered, "Thank you. Thank you so much." I smiled over her shoulder. Not at her. At the future. At the justice snapping tight around her like a trap. Because she had no idea what came next. She had no idea I wasn't saving her. I was burying her. I didn't move right away. No, I let her believe she was safe. That's the trick with revenge. You don't just strike. You wait. You let them settle into the illusion that the worst is behind them. Then you tear it all down in one clean, merciless sweep. For 2 weeks after she signed those papers, Diana floated. Text came in every couple days. Thank you again for helping, Nate. I don't know what I would have done without you. Maybe someday we can really talk. About everything. Desperation disguised as hope. Pathetic. I responded when I felt like it, short, polite replies. Never rude. Never emotional. Meanwhile, Sloan filed the next set of papers. Quietly. Legally. Efficiently. The house, my house, was now in my name alone. Diana was, legally speaking, trespassing. All it took was one signature from me and a call to the county clerk's office. And the eviction notice was on its way. Certified mail, of course. I wanted her to have to sign for it. I wanted her to feel that cold paper hit her hands, to read the words out loud in her empty kitchen while the walls around her started to close in. 30 days to vacate. No negotiations. No extensions. The day the notice arrived, my burner phone buzzed nonstop. Calls. Voicemails. Texts. Nate. What the hell is this? You said you were helping me. You can't do this to me. I'll have nowhere to go. Please, Nate. We can work something out, can't we? Each message was like music to me. A symphony of consequences. I didn't answer. Not yet. Instead, I called the locksmith. Scheduled the lock change for day 31, first thing in the morning. Already lined up a realtor too, someone Sloan recommended, a pit bull of a woman who specialized in quick flips and cold deals. By the end of next month, the house would be sold. New owners. New locks. New life. And Diana? She'd be left with nothing but the clothes she could carry and the ashes of everything she thought she owned. She tried to fight, of course. Tried every trick she had. She cried when she realized threats wouldn't work. She begged when she realized seduction wouldn't either. She screamed when she realized she was completely powerless. I didn't gloat. I didn't shout. I didn't even meet her in person again. The revenge wasn't in humiliating her. It was in the calmness of it all, in how little effort it took to erase her. She called me one last time a week before the move-out deadline. I answered this time. Her voice was wrecked, hollow, and raw. Where am I supposed to go, Nate? I let the question hang. I don't know, I said after a long moment. I guess you'll have to figure that out. Just like I did. Then I hung up. No screaming. No threats. Just a simple, definitive ending. When day 31 came, I drove past the house early in the morning. I didn't get out of the truck. I just watched from a distance. There she was. Diana, stuffing trash bags into her old beat-up sedan. No lover helping her. No friends swooping in to save the day. Alone. Exactly how she had left me. I watched her glance back one last time at the house she thought she had won. And then she drove away. The lock guy gave me a nod as he installed the new deadbolt. Another messy divorce? He asked, not really expecting an answer. I just smiled faintly and said, something like that. I stepped inside. The air smelled different already. Cleaner. Lighter. Home. My home. Finally. And I hadn't raised my voice once. I hadn't thrown a punch. I hadn't broken a single law. I just played smarter. Harder. Colder. Just like she taught me. I could have stopped there. Could have walked away, left her penniless and humiliated, and called it a victory. But then again, she didn't stop at kicking me out. She didn't stop at parading her affair through our life like it was some parade she deserved a medal for. She didn't stop when she called me a loser. She only stopped when there was nothing left to take. And for that, I wasn't going to stop either. 2 years ago, Diana hadn't just wrecked our marriage. She dragged my name through the mud with it. Told her friends I was lazy, unmotivated, a man without ambition. Told her family I was emotionally abusive, that old, tired lie she spun every time someone didn't bow down and worship her moods. She poisoned every well she could reach. The people who used to invite us to dinners stopped calling. The coworkers who used to slap me on the back and buy me a beer avoided my eyes. I didn't defend myself back then. Didn't waste my breath trying to fight a smear campaign I had no chance of winning. But now I had the receipts. See, Diana wasn't exactly discreet in her new relationship. Social media posts. Flirty text with timestamps. Hotel receipts paid with our joint card before I drained the accounts. And that lover of hers? Turns out he was married too, with 2 little girls and a wife who still believed he was working late when he was really playing house with Diana. Yeah. Turns out karma takes requests if you're willing to put in the effort. Through a burner profile, I sent a neat little packet of evidence to her lover's wife. Every photo, every receipt, every love note accidentally left public on a shared Dropbox account. I even threw in a timeline just to make it easy to follow. Within days, it hit the fan. The wife went nuclear, filed for divorce, froze joint accounts, kicked him out of their home. Suddenly, Diana's golden boy had bigger problems than foreclosures and bad credit. He couldn't offer her a safety net anymore. He couldn't even offer her a couch. I didn't hear the details firsthand, didn't need to. Mutual acquaintances, the ones who still lived in the old city, fed the updates to me without knowing I was behind it all. She was couch surfing, living out of trash bags and storage units, begging friends for places to crash until they got sick of her drama and excuses. The family who once toasted her moving on from me? Silent. Ghosts. The friends who cheered when she found true happiness? Gone. Cut ties when her scandal splattered on them. And me? I was untouchable. A name whispered with confusion, with regret, because while she spiraled, I soared. The investments I made during those 2 years? Still growing. The new house I bought? Paid in full. The old truck? Upgraded to a brand new black F-150 that roared like a lion when I hit the gas. I didn't just survive. I rebuilt. Stronger. Smarter. Alone, but whole. And Diana? Well, she was finally living the life she always thought I was destined for. Penniless. Lonely. Begging for help. Poetic, isn't it? She wanted to be gone. She wanted a new life. She just never realized the price tag that came with it. And the best part? I didn't need to lift a finger anymore. The world she built for herself was collapsing under its own weight. I just watched and smiled. You see, taking back the house, watching her stumble into ruin, that was satisfying. No question. But it wasn't the end game. I didn't just want her to lose what she stole. I wanted her to realize she never even mattered in the first place. So I started working quietly, behind the scenes. Patiently, I scrubbed her existence from my life like dirt under a fingernail. The house? Gone, sold to a young family who walked through the door with a toddler giggling on his father's shoulders. They didn't care about the memories, the photos, the life we had built there. They were too busy building their own. I left them a bottle of champagne in the fridge and the keys on the counter. The money from the sale? Poured it into new ventures. A private construction company. A chain of rental properties. Something real. Something mine. Her name was erased from every bank account, every title, every insurance policy. Where once it read Nate and Diana Morgan, now it was just Nate. Friends we once shared? Gone. The ones worth keeping, the ones who saw through her facade stayed. The rest? Cut loose like deadweight. Her number? Blocked. Emails? Filtered straight to trash. I didn't just move on. I obliterated her footprint from my story. She wasn't my ex-wife. She wasn't even a cautionary tale. She was a footnote. An asterisk. An empty chair at a table no one remembered setting. And the beautiful thing was, she knew it. Mutual acquaintances, the few still desperate enough to gossip, let slip how it crushed her. How she called them in drunken tears, asking if they had heard anything about Nate. If they thought he still hated her. If they thought there was a way back. They didn't know what to tell her. Because what do you tell someone who's already dead to you? You tell them nothing. You let the silence answer for you. One night, a new number texted me. Hey, it's Diana. Please, just one conversation. For a moment, I stared at the screen. Not with anger. Not with regret. With pure, clinical detachment. I didn't reply. I deleted the message without reading the rest. She had her chance for conversations. For apologies. For redemption. Those doors were sealed shut the day she told me to leave like a dog. Now she wasn't just out of my house. She was out of my mind. Out of my future. Out of my story. And that kind of erasure? It cuts deeper than any shouted insult or courtroom defeat. It's the quiet, final victory. The one they never see coming. The one they carry in their chest like a stone they can never put down. Diana would wake up in cheap apartments, clutching at fading dreams, wondering how she became invisible to the man she once thought she owned. Meanwhile, I would wake up in a better home, in a better life, with a better future.